Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Really Dicey. I'm here with Vander. This is Manny, and we're here to talk about Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus. We'll be quick about our review. We'll try not to spoil you. This is a level 1 to 13 adventure. Starts off with the city of Baldur's Gate, and it goes pretty much straight into hell, literally. The idea is that the town of Elturel, I believe, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, just disappears from the face of the earth, and there's refugees storming into Baldur's Gate, trying to find out what's going on with the town, why it disappeared, looking for a place to live. And the town's Baldur's Gate itself is in chaos because one of their lords, one of the 4 lords that run Baldur's Gate, disappeared with Elturel as well. So your characters kind of start out trying to organize the Flaming Fist, which is the soldiers that kind of like the cops of Baldur's Gate. Everything's in disarray because their leader's gone. So you're kind of there, kind of try to take order. And I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but somehow as this goes on, you find out that the town is in hell, the first layer of hell in D&D, and you're trying to save this town if possible. So it's a very, very complicated, almost dense adventure.
Yes.
What do you think?
Very dense. So at first, as you read in the beginning and go on, it feels for a little bit very linear. Best thing I could describe it as, it felt a little bit like the beginning of Dragon Age Origins, where you're just, trudging along for a little bit. It's like you have this almost set path where you are going to end up at a certain destination. But once you get to that destination, all bets are off. And you have whatever you want to do. And once you get to Avernus, once you get to Hell, there are a lot of places to go. There's a lot of crazy things you can do. There's stuff you can do for fun, stuff you can do for profit. There's just so much that you can do.
Yeah, the book feels like it's almost like 2 parts. I mean, there's enough information about Baldur's Gate, so you could just have lots of different adventures there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're very detailed about the NPCs, a lot of the scenarios that happen there. And then there's the first layer of hell, and that's almost like a separate book in a way, because that has so many different like adventures and NPCs and like quests to do. I can't imagine anyone being bored.
No, especially with Baldur's Gate in the beginning, and then there's a whole section detailing intrigue, government plots, and stuff like that, where you really could spend multiple sessions just in Baldur's Gate. You do eventually, if you want to continue a particular plot, have to go to hell. You don't need to for a while, and I mean, recommended, maybe don't. Maybe spend some time in Baldur's Gate, have some fun going around there. There's plenty of corruption if your characters are good. There's plenty of good if your characters are corrupt. You can always find something to do in Baldur's Gate. But once you get to hell, you have choices of picking, for those of you who may know a little bit or a lot about D&D, there's a lot of different fiendish factions. So there are demons and devils. One is lawful evil, one is chaotic evil, and they're usually almost always at war. You can choose sides between them, not that it matters, because there's thousands upon thousands of them, but you can fight against, turn them against each other. But also, if you enjoyed Mad Max, there's some really fun little tidbits that they put in just for basically Mad Max fans.
Yeah, and I find Baldur's Gate a very familiar setting for me, because I grew up in New York City. I may even say some parts of Baldur's Gate, the danger of it kind of reminds me of New York City in some sad ways, but it's very familiar. I feel like they did a great job at making the city feel very alive, very dangerous. Yep. And what I like about the stories in this game in this book is that it doesn't feel too railroady, or not even that railroady. It does guide you in a certain direction.
Yes.
But it does give you notes that in case your character does something else, like for example, way in the beginning, if you don't want to investigate a certain scenario or meet up with a certain NPC at a bar, I don't want to spoil too much, but it kind of gives you notes like, okay, if they don't decide to do that in 40 hours, what happens? And so it gives you these options so that the game master, the dungeon master, is not trapped in this story without finding a way out for their characters. It's I think it's It's a really great book. If for those wondering what else does the book offer besides these long and complicated adventures, there's some updates in the background.
Yep.
The backgrounds for your characters.
They have a new one. There might have been one more that I missed, but there is definitely one new one called Faceless. I won't even spoil it because it's actually super fun just to read it. So I'm just gonna let that go. But look up the Faceless one because it's a great option for people who want to have a very particular personality behind their character and the reason they do the things that they do. It's really unique.
Yeah. And there's new monsters.
Yep. Plenty of those.
there are some great magic items also available. Yes. There's a lot of really interesting things. The Wandering Emporium, I think, is my favorite.
Yeah.
Again, nothing is stable in hell.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that pop up, even though distance logically will tell you like, no, that should be far away. But sometimes by leaving one place and returning to it could be a totally different
magic. Magic, guys. But yeah, he's right. The maps make sense, but they also don't make sense. And then because so many structures can move, maybe it would make sense on a map, but you watch it go floating by. But I mean, one of the fun things that you can also do is we read about the Infernal War Machines, which again we won't get too much into it. If you've at least read the synopsis, you know about these things. But again, very Mad Maxy. They are relative to certain plots, but if you also just want to have your group go out in a big war machine and cause mayhem and again go Mad Max and just go crazy. You can do that. You can spend 5 sessions just running around wastelands trying to find people to kill, fight, steal from, or defend, or whatever your characters want to do.
Do you feel that this game will be easy for any game master of any level to play?
I consider myself very new as a DM. I've only been playing D&D for 5 years now. I've only been DMing for about a year. And I was a horrible person and decided that homebrewing my entire world was my first step. As I feel like most DMs are like, wow, this is a bad idea. But reading through this, while it takes a while, I'd say reading the whole book probably took me 4 or 5 hours. It gave you enough that wing it a little bit. Okay. Like you with the options they have in there, everything makes sense if you just follow the guidelines, but there's enough that you can make certain choices, and they allow you to. They're like, this is at DM's discretion. This is at DM's discretion. So like it is your world to make choices in. You are the DM. You're still in control. There are just certain things that, because of personalities, because of the logic and laws of the world, like gravity or something, it just works certain ways. But twist it to your own. Right? Why not? It's a magical world.
Yeah, but my advice would be for dungeon masters is that pace yourself out this book. Don't rush, because there's so many great things. Again, I can just, like, if I wanted to, if let's say my character, we have characters that are already 6th, 7th level, I could start in the middle of the book and go from there. Like, we could go straight to hell and have fun doing that. So even when you start in the beginning, pace yourself. I mean, explore Baldur's Gate. I mean, it's such a city so full of crazy things.
There's another thing. They only mention it once, but they give a lot of good points for it. If there happens to be character death and you're going to hell, so there's a very good chance of character death, there are certain points that are really poignant for you to revive, either not technically revive a PC or let another player character make a character and intertwine them in the world. So if someone wants to be an Asimar, but you're inside Avernus, there are places where that actually doesn't not make sense. And the characters themselves, when you even just Baldur's Gate by itself, very diverse when it comes to people. So like you never see like a genasi in a random spot that wouldn't make sense to you, but like if you see a Triton or another aquatic humanoid, you're right on the coast. It makes sense that they're there. Maybe you run into tieflings, and that makes sense when you understand that there's so much corrupt nature. So there's a lot of variety in the PCs, so you're not just dealing with a dwarf, a human, and an elf all the time, but they do make sense. And if you get enough of the backstories, it's really interesting why they're there.
Yeah, and just to let you know that they do such a good job in talking about culture. Like, again, the reason why I feel like it was for like two different books is that they do a good job explaining Baldur's Gate culture and then the culture of hell, and how, like, from currency to relations and dealings.
Deals and contracts.
Yes. So it does a really great job with that. I definitely don't rush on this book. Take your time to read it. If you want to make Hell or Baldur's Gate kind of very flavorful, you don't want to make it. You don't want to make it feel like just like any other city or any other plane of existence. Definitely take your time and read on what they put in there. I think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, there's a whole section specifically about government intrigue plot, and they have a whole section where originally in the first part you're only in one certain section of Baldur's Gate, but there's a whole expansion to it that you're able to you can really go wherever. Just play the plot because it's super interesting and you kind of want to get all the way through it.
And the art's fantastic.
As you'd expect.
You can see the two different covers right here. It also comes with its own special dice as well, if you really want to get into the atmosphere.
Guys, you got to see the War Machine designs. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, this book is so much fun. There's so much you can do here.
Yeah.
So yes, I give this my highest recommendation. If you're interested in city adventures, if you're interested in venturing outside the plains. I know some of you have complained about that Forgotten Realms. They do too much Forgotten Realms material, and that they don't want you want to expand out of that. This is one way to go.
Definitely. I will say that as far as Forgotten Realms go, their cosmology, their world is so big that even if you stay in it, if you keep picking right spots and stuff like this, the not like 9 layers. This is one of 9 layers. This isn't even the whole thing of the first 9 layers. There's so much to work with, guys.
Yeah, I hope they continue working on it. I'd like to see what Wizards of the Coast comes up with for the other 8 layers.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine when you get down to the 9th layer how crazy that stuff gets.
Well, everyone, thank you for checking out this quick review. I hope it's been helpful to you. This will come out later this month officially. And if you have any questions about it, please put it in the comment section. We'll do our best to answer. And yes, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Have a good one, guys.